Chosen one, God just confirmed your victory, but you need to listen carefully because this victory may not look the way your old mind expected it to look. It may not arrive with noise. It may not arrive with people clapping. It may arrive as peace after a long season of pressure. It may arrive as calm where fear used to speak the loudest. You are not here by accident. Something higher than your planning has brought you into this moment because a part of you has been asking if you lost or if you were being prepared. If you are not here by accident, if something in you already knows this message found you at the moment it was meant to, press like, not to activate anything, simply as an acknowledgement that this appointment was not random. And the answer rising through this message is simple. You did not lose. You were being formed. The verdict has already been sealed. If that lands somewhere true in your spirit, type Amen, not as a performance, as a witness from your own heart that the verdict was already sealed before you had visible proof. God smiled over something you did in private, not because you were perfect, not because you never cried, not because you never questioned the path. He smiled because you kept choosing what was right when bitterness would have been easier. And that kind of private obedience is never wasted in the unseen. This victory is not always the enemy falling in front of you. It is not always the old room finally admitting your value. It is not always the person who doubted you coming back with regret. Sometimes victory is the moment your soul stops begging for proof from people who never had the eyes to see you clearly. Victory can be quiet. Victory can be still. Victory can feel like a closed door that no longer breaks your heart. And after everything you have walked through, that peace in your chest may be one of the clearest signs that God has already moved in a place your eyes cannot measure yet. You thought victory would feel louder. You thought it would come with a sudden announcement. You thought it would silence every critic at once. But God often confirms victory first by changing your inner weather. Because if the storm no longer controls you inside, then it has already lost a deep part of its authority. Listen to the way you respond now. You do not run to explain as quickly. You do not chase every person who withdraws. You do not break yourself trying to keep doors open that keep hurting you. Something in you is becoming steady, and that steadiness is not small. It is evidence. You did not lose when they left. You did not lose when the door closed. You did not lose when the plan changed. You did not lose when you had to start again. You did not lose when God made you wait, because the waiting was not empty. The waiting was shaping your capacity. If that truth is reaching somewhere, you needed it to reach. Type this in the comments. I am being formed, not forgotten. Let it be the first declaration of a person who no longer calls the delay punishment. There was a season when one wrong message could ruin your whole day. One look could make you doubt yourself. One closed door could make you question your worth. But you are not moving like that anymore. And even if you still feel tender, your spirit is no longer as easy to pull out of peace. That is one of the signs. The first sign is this. You no longer need the person who hurt you to understand your pain. You may still remember what happened, but the need to make them see it has started losing power. And that is a holy kind of freedom. There is a difference between healing and pretending. You are not pretending it did not hurt. You are not calling betrayal harmless. You are not forcing yourself to smile over what needed tears. But you are no longer handing your future to the person who wounded your past. That is victory. The second sign is this. You stopped forcing doors that kept damaging your peace. You used to think a closed door meant rejection. You used to think delay meant God forgot. But something in you has begun to understand that not every open door is safe, and not every closed door is punishment. The third sign is this. You feel less panic around uncertainty. You still want answers. You still want clarity. You still want to know what comes next. But the unknown is no longer crushing you the same way, because somewhere in the hidden place, your trust has become stronger than your need to control every detail. That does not mean fear never visits. It means fear no longer gets the main chair in your spirit. It means anxiety may knock, but it does not get to build a house inside you. It means you can breathe in a hallway even before the next door opens. The fourth sign is this: your private obedience has become stronger than public approval. You are learning to do what is right without needing every eye to notice. You are learning to stay faithful when the reward is delayed, and that kind of faithfulness is one of the clearest marks of a chosen one. People may not know what it costs you to stay soft. They may not know what it cost you to stay honest. They may not know how many times you wanted to become cold and decided not to. But heaven knows. God saw the quiet decisions no one celebrated. The fifth sign is this: your spirit is no longer begging for old rooms. The room that once made you feel small is losing its voice. The people whose approval once felt like oxygen are becoming less powerful. You are not becoming arrogant. You are becoming free from the hunger that made you shrink. Chosen one, this is where you must be honest with yourself. You have been waiting for a sign outside you, but God has been leaving signs inside you. Your reactions are different. Your standards are different. Your silence is different. Your peace is different. Your hunger for old approval is different. If this is landing in your spirit, type "I receive," not as a performance, not as a magic phrase. Type it as a witness that something in you recognizes this word. Type it because your soul knows the difference between hype and confirmation. And this is touching a place that has been waiting. You were tired, but you were not faithless. You were confused, but you were not abandoned. You were delayed, but you were not denied. You were hidden, but you were not forgotten. There is a record of your endurance that no human opinion can erase. Some people only saw your silence and called it weakness. Some people only saw your distance and called it pride. Some people only saw your tears and thought you were breaking. But God saw the deeper story, and He knew you were not falling apart. You were being separated from what could not follow you. That is why the victory is confirmed before everything looks finished. God is not waiting for people to agree with what He already knows. He is not waiting for the old room to approve your new season. He is not waiting for the ones who misunderstood you to become the judges of your destiny. The sealed verdict does not need a crowd to be real. The stamp is already on the page. The messenger may still be on the road, and the announcement may still be moving toward your life. But the decision has already been made in the place where your obedience was seen. I want to pause here and say something directly. Every moment of private obedience, every time you chose what was right when no one was watching, every quiet act of faithfulness that no applause ever acknowledged, heaven kept a record of it. That is not poetic language. That is the operating principle behind everything this message has been saying. This mission operates on the same principle. Every word released through this work reaches people who are sitting in the middle of their silence, carrying their private faithfulness with no audience, no confirmation, and no visible proof that any of it is being seen. Through the link in the description or the pinned comment, sow into this mission today. Whatever your spirit moves you to give. When you do, you are not giving to a platform. You are becoming part of the record. You are ensuring that the same word that found you in your silence continues moving until it finds the next person who needs to hear that heaven has not looked away. Breathe with that for a moment. You are not trying to earn what God has already confirmed. You are learning to carry it. You are learning to become steady enough for the blessing, clear enough for the door, and humble enough to remember who brought you through. God smiled because you did not let pain turn you into the thing that hurt you. He smiled because you kept choosing mercy without surrendering your boundaries. He smiled because you allowed the wilderness to train you, even when you did not understand why the path had become so narrow. And hear this with your whole spirit. I saw what you carried when no one clapped. I saw the moment you almost quit and still chose faith. I saw the tears you wiped before anyone entered the room. I saw the obedience you thought did not matter. It mattered. The question is no longer if you lost. The question is whether you can recognize victory before the world announces it. The first confirmation is not noise. It is the quiet authority rising inside you, the sacred calm that says the old battle no longer owns your name. The sealed verdict was not only placed over your future, it was also written inside your becoming. That is why the waiting season mattered so much. It was not empty time. There are seasons where God does not rush the door open because the person walking toward that door is still being formed, not punished, not rejected, not forgotten, formed. And formation can feel like delay when your heart is tired, because the soul wants relief before it understands preparation. You wanted the promise to move faster. You wanted the answer to arrive sooner. You wanted the pressure to lift. And while you were asking for movement, God was building something in you that could not be built in comfort, because comfort rarely reveals what pressure reveals. The delay showed you what had too much power over your peace. It showed you which voices could still pull you out of alignment. It showed you where you were still begging for approval. It showed you where fear was still making decisions in the name of wisdom. That is why you cannot hate the waiting season. You can grieve it. You can admit it was heavy. You can tell the truth about the lonely nights, but you cannot call it useless, because something holy was happening in the hidden place while your visible life looked still. God did not delay you to embarrass you. He did not slow you down because he enjoyed your pain. He did not hold back the door because he wanted you confused. He slowed what your old self might have wasted, and he protected what your new self is being trained to carry. There is a version of victory that comes too early, and it can crush a person who has not been formed. A door can be good and still be dangerous if your identity is still begging for validation. Because an unhealed heart can turn a blessing into another place of fear. This is why the formation came first. Cleaner boundaries came first. Deeper discernment came first. Quieter confidence came first. Stronger obedience came first. God was not only preparing a place for you, he was preparing you for the place. The first proof of formation is this: your boundaries are cleaner now. You do not explain your no to everyone. You do not feel responsible for every reaction. You do not keep making yourself available to people who only value you when you are easy to access. That is not cruelty. That is wisdom. That is not pride. That is stewardship. You are learning that love does not require self-abandonment, and peace does not require you to keep bleeding quietly so other people can remain comfortable. There was a time when guilt could pull you back into places God was pulling you out of. One sad message could weaken your decision. One emotional conversation could make you doubt the boundary you prayed for strength to set. But you are not as easy to move now. You are learning the difference between patience and self-betrayal, and that difference is saving your future from old confusion. Not every slow thing is against you. Not every silent season is punishment. Not every person leaving is loss. Sometimes God removes the noise before he gives the instruction, because a crowded spirit cannot always hear the gentle movement of divine timing. The third proof is quieter confidence. You no longer need to announce every shift. You no longer need to defend every choice. You no longer need to convince every person that your life is changing. Something in you understands that real movement does not always need witnesses. This is a deep mark of maturity. Immature faith wants constant proof. Wounded confidence wants constant applause. But formed confidence can move in silence, because it has learned that heaven can approve what people do not understand yet. The fourth proof is stronger obedience. You are learning to do the right thing without immediate reward. You are learning to stay faithful when the room is quiet. You are learning to choose integrity when nobody would know if you compromised. And that kind of obedience carries weight. What felt like delay was training. What felt like rejection was redirection. What felt like silence was protection. What felt like loss was separation. What felt like waiting was God building capacity. And capacity is what keeps a blessing from becoming too heavy for the one who receives it. There is an old story about David in a place of deep loss. Everything around him looked burned down. The people were broken. The future looked stolen. And before anything was restored on the outside, something had to return on the inside first. Strength had to come back. That is the part many people skip. They want restoration before strengthening. They want the door before the inner return. They want the public answer before the private rising. But God often begins with the hidden place, because if your inner world collapses, the outer victory cannot be carried well. David had to strengthen himself before the recovery became visible. That is not just an old story. It is a pattern. There are moments when nobody can lift you the way you need to be lifted, because God is teaching your spirit how to stand again without begging the wrong voices for rescue. This is why your strength is coming back in strange ways. Not always as excitement, not always as loud joy. Sometimes strength returns as the ability to breathe. Sometimes it returns as the courage to sleep. Sometimes it returns as the peace to stop chasing what keeps wounding you. You may not feel powerful every day. That does not mean formation failed. Some days power looks like not answering the old call. Some days power looks like resting instead of spiraling. Some days power looks like saying less, praying honestly, and letting God hold what your hands cannot fix. Let this settle in your body for a moment. You have survived more than you give yourself credit for. Your shoulders have carried quiet weight. Your heart has held questions. Your mind has replayed conversations you never got to finish. And still, you are here. There is nothing to prove in this breath. There is nothing to force in this moment. Let your chest soften. Let your jaw loosen. Let the noise around your spirit become a little quieter, because not every holy thing arrives through intensity. Some holy things arrive through rest. You are not behind because you needed time to heal. You are not weak because the process affected you. You are not faithless because you had days where you felt empty. Even the strongest trees do not grow by pretending there was no storm. They grow by staying rooted through it. Feel the mercy in that. God did not demand that you become untouched by life. He did not ask you to be stone. He formed you while you were still feeling, still grieving, still learning, still becoming. That means your tenderness was not a flaw. It was part of the soil. Some of you already know that the battle was not only around you, it was also in the way your mind carried pressure. You have felt the fog. You have felt the scattered thoughts. You have felt that strange tiredness where your spirit believes, but your mind feels slow under the weight of too many seasons. Truth honors truth. The deeper point is this: God does not only restore circumstances, He restores capacity. He restores clarity. He restores the inner room where decisions are made, because a confirmed victory still needs a steady mind, and a steady mind can hear instruction without being ruled by panic. That is why this formation matters. The deeper point that was just named matters. God restores the inner room where decisions are made. He restores the capacity to hear without fear. He restores the clarity that pressure had dimmed. This mission exists to carry that restoration to people who have not yet found language for what they are carrying. People whose capacity has been worn down by seasons of silence and waiting. People who know something is forming in them, but cannot yet name what it is. Through the link in the description or the pinned comment, invest in this work today. Sow whatever your spirit leads you to give. You just received a word that restored something in your inner room. Your seed helps this word reach the next person whose inner room is still waiting to be restored. That is not a transaction. That is the principle of restoration, moving through you into others. You are not only waiting for something outside you to change, you are becoming someone who can move differently when it does. You are becoming less reactive, less desperate, less addicted to approval, and more able to recognize peace as direction. Right now, there are angels marking this specific moment in your formation, not the moment the door opens. This moment, the one where you are becoming someone who can move without being ruled by the old fear, if you feel that shift. Type 444 in the comments. Let heaven record your awareness. What used to break your focus is losing its grip. What used to steal your sleep is losing its voice. What used to make you beg for old access is losing its charm. This is not because you stopped caring. It is because your center is changing. You are being formed into someone who can carry a yes without losing humility. You are being formed into someone who can receive an open door without worshipping the door. You are being formed into someone who can be blessed and still stay surrendered. That is rare. Many people want arrival without formation. They want increase without discipline. They want elevation without healing. But God has been doing something deeper with you, chosen one. Because the victory coming into your life is not meant to make you careless. It is meant to make you faithful at a higher level. This is why certain doors did not open when you begged for them. The timing was not only about the door. It was about the version of you who would have walked through it. God knew what pressure would expose. God knew what attention would awaken. God knew what blessing would require. So He worked on your roots before He trusted you with more branches. He worked on your motives before He widened your reach. He worked on your peace before He increased your responsibility. Because anything built high without deep roots can fall when the wind changes. And look at you now. You may still be healing, but you are not the same. You may still have questions, but you are not as easily shaken. You may still feel tender, but tenderness is no longer ruling you through fear. Something sacred has become stronger. This is the hidden proof of the victory. The old cycle calls, and you do not answer the same way. The old fear rises, and you do not bow the same way. The old rejection touches your memory, and you do not hand it the same authority. You are not perfect. That was never the requirement. What God is building in you through this word does not end here. And in the hidden court of heaven, the verdict is not waiting for your emotions to catch up. The verdict has already been sealed. The formation behind the victory is the reason you can trust what is coming. God did not just confirm an outcome. He confirmed the work He has done in you. He confirmed the endurance. He confirmed the obedience. He confirmed the maturity that grew in the dark. 7 means completion. The formation was not scattered. It was not wasted. It was a sequence, and it is complete in ways your circumstances may not yet fully show. If your spirit is receiving that truth right now, type 777 in the comments. Let it be your witness that you understand the completion before the proof arrives. That means the waiting season did not win. The disappointment did not win. The rejection did not win. The silence did not win. The old version of you did not remain in control, and because of that, the blessing has a safer place to land. Beneath all of this, another question begins to rise. If the waiting was formation and the formation was proof, then what exactly has God confirmed over your life? The answer is not small. It is not shallow. It touches your identity, your direction, your protection, your restoration, and your assignment. What exactly has God confirmed over your life, chosen one? This question is not small. It is not only about a door opening. It is not only about relief arriving. It is about the quiet places where heaven has already placed approval, even while your visible life is still catching up. God has confirmed your identity first. You are not who the pain called you. You are not who rejection named you. You are not who delay made you fear you were. The season tried to label you as forgotten, but God has been calling you formed, chosen, protected, and still held. The victory begins here. Your identity survived the attack. Your heart may have been bruised, but your name was not changed. Your confidence may have been shaken, but your calling was not cancelled. Your tears were real, but they were never proof that God had abandoned you. God has confirmed your direction next. Some closed doors were not delays meant to shame you. They were mercy. Some endings were not proof that you were unworthy. They were protection. Some redirections felt like loss, because you did not yet know what God was refusing to let you settle for. That is why you can stop blaming yourself for every door that did not open. Learn what needs to be learned. Take responsibility where wisdom requires it. But do not call every closed door failure, because some doors stayed shut, because God loved you too much to let you shrink. God has confirmed your protection. Some people did not leave because you were too much. Some people left because access expired. Some opportunities did not vanish because you were cursed. They vanished because your future could not be carried by that old arrangement. Protection does not always feel gentle at first. Sometimes it feels like confusion. Sometimes it feels like removal. Sometimes it feels like silence from someone you thought would stay. But later, when your spirit gets distance, you begin to see that the closed gate was not cruelty. You were protected from conversations that would have pulled you backward. You were protected from rooms that praised your gift while draining your soul. You were protected from people who loved your availability more than they honored your life. That is not rejection. That is covering. God has confirmed your restoration. Peace is returning before all the proof arrives. This matters. You may still be waiting on practical answers, but something inside you is already breathing differently. Your spirit is not as trapped in yesterday. Your future is not as hard to imagine. Restoration often begins as an inner shift before it becomes an outer change. A person can receive attention and still be starving for worth. A person can receive more and still be poor in peace. So God restores the inner place first, because a healed vessel can carry more without leaking. God has confirmed your assignment. This is not only about comfort, it is also about trust. You have been through the fire, and the fire did not erase your tenderness. You have been through delay, and delay did not kill your obedience. Victory has 5 faces in this season: identity, direction, protection, restoration, assignment. You are being released, restored, and repositioned. You are being healed, strengthened, and entrusted. You are being quieted, sharpened, and sent into a season where your peace must remain more important than your performance. There is an old word for victory that carries the idea of overcoming nikao. It does not only mean that something was handed to you, it carries the sense that something came against you and it did not conquer you. This is why your victory is deeper than a happy moment. You overcame despair without losing your faith completely. You overcame rejection without rejecting yourself forever. You overcame confusion without surrendering your future to fear. Maybe you stumbled. Maybe you cried. Maybe you questioned more than you wanted to admit, but you are still here. This is the holy meaning of what has been confirmed. Your victory is not only a prize, it is proof. It is proof that the pressure could not erase the promise. It is proof that the wilderness could not swallow the calling. It is proof that the old story could not keep the final word. There is someone who needed one door so badly that she nearly missed the peace around another one. She prayed for the same opportunity again and again. Every time it looked close, something shifted. Every time it seemed possible, it slipped away. She thought God was silent. At first, she blamed herself. Then she blamed timing. Then she wondered if she had heard wrong. But one day, in a quiet room with no dramatic sign, she noticed something strange. The door she kept begging for always brought tension, but the path she kept ignoring brought peace. That peace did not shout. It did not flatter her ego. It did not flatter the softly, steadily. Some of you are standing in that same kind of confirmation. You keep asking for the thing that looks impressive, but God keeps giving peace around the thing that will actually protect your soul. Do not ignore peace just because it does not arrive with thunder. You already won in a way your old self could not recognize. You won because the old pattern no longer owns you. You won because the old fear no longer gets the final say. You won because the old hunger for approval is losing its grip on your decisions. This does not mean every answer is visible today. It does not mean you will never feel pressure again. It does not mean your life becomes perfect overnight. It means the deepest battle has shifted because what once controlled you is no longer sitting on the throne of your inner life. But hear this with care. Victory confirmed does not mean you can move carelessly. A sealed verdict still needs wise handling. A new door still needs discernment. A restored heart still needs boundaries. The next danger is not always defeat. Sometimes the next danger is mishandling what God has already approved. God smiled because of private obedience, not public performance. He smiled over the moment you stayed quiet when your flesh wanted to strike back. He smiled over the moment you told the truth, when a lie would have protected your image. He smiled over the moment you chose peace. If you know God has been forming you in private, type "it is done." Type it with humility. Type it without pretending the process was easy. Type it as a witness that your spirit understands something your circumstances have not fully announced yet. Do not force the timeline. Do not worship the sign. Do not chase the people who were removed from the path. Stay steady, stay prayerful, stay teachable. The same God who confirmed the victory is wise enough to reveal it without you breaking your peace to help him. The messenger may still be traveling, but the verdict is not undecided. The door may still be opening, but heaven is not confused. The proof may still be forming, but the promise has not died. Something has been sealed over you, and your soul is learning to believe it before your eyes fully see it. And because the victory has been confirmed, the next lesson becomes sacred. How do you carry it without returning to old fear? How do you move forward without talking too early, proving too much, or handing access back to what God removed? This is where wisdom must rise. The victory has been confirmed, but this is where wisdom must rise. A person can win a battle and still lose peace by moving without discernment. A door can open and still require silence. A promise can be near and still need covering because not every eye deserves to see what God is protecting. This is the danger after victory. The old battle may be ending, but old habits may still try to speak. Fear may not come as fear this time. It may come as urgency. It may come as the need to prove. It may come as the sudden desire to tell everyone before the instruction is clear. The first trap is talking too early. Some things are real, but still tender. Some doors are opening, but still forming. Some answers have been released, but still need quiet ground. If you expose every seed too soon, you may invite opinions into a place where only obedience belongs. Silence is not fear. Silence is stewardship. Silence is not hiding. Silence is covering. Do not announce what still needs protection after victory. Do not hand your next move to people who never honored your last process after victory. Do not let excitement make you careless after victory. The second trap is returning to old battles. You do not need to re-enter every argument to prove you survived it. You do not need to answer every accusation. The person who hurt you may still want access through reaction, but you do not have to return just because they remember how to reach you. God did not bring you out so you could keep rehearsing the same pain. He did not confirm your victory so you could make your future a shrine to what happened. You can honor the lesson without living in the wound. You can remember the fire without sleeping in the ashes. The third trap is needing public validation. This one hides under the desire to be understood. It whispers that the victory is not real until someone claps, apologizes, notices, or admits they were wrong. But if your peace depends on their recognition, the old room still has too much power. The sealed verdict does not need public applause to be valid. God does not need the people who doubted you to become witnesses before he can bless you. Their silence cannot cancel his confirmation. Their blindness cannot erase what heaven has already stamped. The fourth trap is mistaking peace for boredom. When you have lived inside pressure for a long time, peace can feel unfamiliar, calm can feel empty, stability can feel strange. Your body may look for chaos because chaos became familiar, but familiar does not always mean safe. This is why you must relearn peace. Peace is not weakness. Peace is not God doing nothing. Peace can be the sound of the old storm losing access. And if you keep chasing noise, you may miss the gentle way God is guiding your next step. Carry this word with care. Stay quiet until instruction is clear. Examine every open door. Accept peace as proof, not boredom. Let the old room lose access. That is the seal over this season. Stay quiet means stop feeding holy things to careless conversations. Examine every open door, because not every opportunity is assignment. Accept peace as proof, because God often leads with a steady witness inside the spirit. Let the old room lose access, because forgiveness does not always mean return. Pause here and feel the mercy in this. You have stayed present for a long road. You have listened through recognition, formation, and confirmation. You have allowed hard truth to touch tender places. That matters. Not everyone allows truth to go that deep. Let your breath become slower. Let your chest soften again. You do not have to force the next door. You do not have to perform for the promise. You do not have to make your victory louder than your peace. The God who confirmed it knows how to reveal it. A confirmed victory still needs a clear mind to carry it. A restored season still needs restored capacity. Many chosen ones know what it feels like to have faith in the Spirit, while the mind feels tired, scattered, or fogged by years of pressure. Some of you do not feel lazy, you feel suppressed. You remember seasons when your mind felt sharper, when ideas came faster, when learning felt lighter, when your inner world felt more awake. Then life got heavy and something in your clarity seemed to dim. The deeper truth remains. A clear mind is not the victory itself. It is one vessel that can help you carry what God has already confirmed. The true victory is still the work of God in you, the steadiness being formed, and the wisdom rising where fear once made your decisions. Hold this thought before we continue. This word was the vessel that carried that truth to you. The steadiness, the wisdom rising where fear once made decisions. That is the work. Through the link in the description or the pinned comment, sow into this mission today. Right now, from the formed place, this message has been building toward. When you give from this place, you are not giving from need, you are not giving from pressure, you are giving from the understanding that a vessel keeps moving only when people who have been reached choose to keep it moving. Your seed ensures that the next person standing where you once stood has a vessel to find them. That is the only reason this is being named here. So return to the center. Do not talk too early. Do not run back to old battles. Do not demand applause from people who never saw the cost. Do not mistake peace for boredom. The victory has been confirmed, but the way you carry it will reveal how deeply the formation has worked. What comes next requires a different version of you. Not louder, not harder, not more desperate, steadier, quieter, cleaner in spirit, stronger in obedience. Because God is not only giving you a victory to celebrate, He is making you into someone who can be trusted with it. Chosen one, the victory has been confirmed. But this final word is about who you become after the confirmation. God is not only bringing you out, He is making you steady. He is not only opening a door, He is teaching your spirit how to walk through it without fear leading the way. You are not just receiving victory. You are becoming the kind of person who can carry it. That is the deeper miracle. Take a moment now and share this word. Someone you know is carrying the same weight you brought into this message. They need to hear that the delay is not punishment, that the waiting was not wasted, that the verdict has already been sealed. Send it to them. This word was for you, but it does not end with you. Anyone can celebrate when the door opens, but not everyone can remain humble, quiet, and clean in spirit when God begins to prove what he already knew. You are sealed, not stranded. You are trained, not punished. You are hidden, not forgotten. You are steady, not stuck. You are sent, not random. Let those words reach the places in you that have been tired from trying to explain a season that only God fully understood. For a long time, you may have felt like life was asking you to survive with no witness. You kept going with questions in your chest. You carried responsibilities with a tired mind. You showed up when your heart wanted to disappear. And still, God was forming a deeper yes inside you. That yes is why you are still here. That yes is why the old story did not win. That yes is why the rejection could not rename you. That yes is why the delay could not destroy you. It bent you for a season, but it did not break the covenant over your life. The first behavior of a chosen one after victory is this: speak less and listen deeper. There are times when the most powerful move is not another explanation. It is sacred silence. It is the quiet strength to let God confirm what your mouth no longer needs to defend. You do not have to tell everyone what God showed you. You do not have to announce every shift. You do not have to prove that your season has changed. Let your life become the evidence in time, because fruit does not need to argue with people who only believe in noise. The second behavior is this: move slower and decide cleaner. Victory can create excitement, and excitement can make a person rush. But you are not being led by pressure anymore. You are being led by peace, wisdom, and the quiet witness that comes when your spirit is no longer begging. A clean decision does not always feel dramatic. It often feels simple. It often feels calm. It often feels like a door that does not require you to abandon yourself in order to enter. Learn that feeling. Trust it. Let peace teach your feet how to move. The third behavior is this: celebrate quietly before announcing publicly. This does not mean you hide in fear. It means you honor what is still tender. Some blessings need private gratitude before public visibility, because public attention can touch a seed before its roots are ready. The fourth behavior is this: protect peace like a holy assignment. Peace is not a small thing. Peace is not extra. Peace is not decoration on top of the blessing. Peace is part of the blessing. And if you lose peace to keep access, that access may be too expensive. Guard the atmosphere of your life. Guard what you listen to. Guard who gets close when your heart is open. Guard the first moments of your morning and the last thoughts before sleep. Because a confirmed victory can still be disturbed by careless access. The fifth behavior is this: let God reveal what people refuse to see. You do not need to force the announcement. You do not need to stage the proof. You do not need to chase the apology. If God wants a thing seen, He knows how to bring it into the light. This is where the old version of you must rest. The old version wanted to make people understand. The old version wanted every false story corrected. The old version wanted to carry receipts into every room. But the new version understands that heaven keeps better records than wounded people do. You are not walking forward as someone desperate to be believed. You are walking forward as someone who has been confirmed in the unseen. That changes your posture. It changes your tone. It changes your appetite. You no longer need to eat from the table of old validation. Chosen one, there is a holy steadiness coming over you. Not a loud pride, not a hard shell, not a cold personality. A steady spirit, a clean, yes, a quiet confidence, a deeper ability to stand without begging every person around you to understand the place God is taking you. When old people reach for old access, do not panic. Let wisdom answer before emotion does. Not every message deserves a response. Not every invitation deserves your presence. Not every memory deserves your whole evening. You can bless people in your heart, and still keep the boundary God gave you. When the new door starts to open, do not panic. Walk with humility. Walk with prayer. Walk with clean motives. Do not worship the door. Do not worship the opportunity. Do not worship the applause. The same God who opened it is still greater than what he opened. This is the shape of a carried victory. Quiet mouth, clear eyes, guarded peace, soft heart, strong boundaries. You do not become less loving. You become less available for confusion. You do not become less kind. You become less willing to betray your assignment for temporary approval. Let this become your inner agreement. I will not rush what God is forming. I will not announce what God is covering. I will not return to what God removed. I will not trade peace for attention. I will not shrink after being strengthened. There is a sacred closing over this message now, not an ending of the work, but a sealing of what your spirit has received. Let your breath slow down. Let your shoulders drop. Let your hands rest. Let the room around you become quiet, even if only for this moment. God, seal what you have already confirmed. Seal it in the heart of this chosen one. Seal it in the mind. Seal it in the decisions. Seal it in the unseen places where fear has tried to return and call itself wisdom. Teach this chosen one to carry victory with humility. Teach them to walk without begging. Teach them to receive without arrogance. Teach them to rest without guilt. Teach them to move when you say move and wait when you say wait. Remove the need to prove, remove the need to chase, remove the need to beg, remove the need to explain to people who are committed to misunderstanding. Let peace become the proof. Let obedience become the path. Let wisdom become the guard at every open door. God, release old verdicts from their spirit. Release the words spoken by people who did not know the weight of their calling. Release the shame attached to delay. Release the fear attached to visibility. Release the grief attached to doors that were never meant to carry them. Let every false name fall away, not rejected, chosen, not abandoned, covered, not delayed for nothing, prepared, not weak, formed, not behind, timed by heaven, not forgotten, remembered by the one who saw every tear and counted every silent act of obedience. Walk forward. The verdict has already been sealed. Walk forward without forcing. Walk forward without performing. Walk forward without dragging the old room behind you. Walk forward with clean hands, a guarded heart, and a spirit that knows God has not changed his mind. If you receive this confirmation, type I receive. If you are ready to carry victory with wisdom, type I am ready. Let it be more than a comment. Let it be a witness from your own spirit that you will not mishandle what God is placing in your care. The sealed letter is no longer only on the table. It is in your hand now. You do not have to break it open in panic. You do not have to wave it in front of those who doubted you. You can hold it with peace. The room is quiet. The old noise is fading. The door is not being forced open by fear. It is opening in the right time, by the right hand, with the right covering. And when you step through it, you will not step through as the person who begged to be chosen. You will step through as the one who was chosen before the evidence arrived. You will step through as the one who was formed in silence. You will step through as the one who learned that God can smile over a hidden yes before the world ever sees the harvest. So rest your spirit, guard your peace, keep your heart clean. The battle did not get the final word. The delay did not get the final word. The rejection did not get the final word. God has spoken over your becoming, and what he has sealed will not need fear to defend it. The victory is confirmed. The formation is real. The next step is holy. Move with wisdom. Move with peace. Move with humility. And when doubt tries to ask if you lost, let your spirit answer with quiet authority. I was not losing. I was being prepared.